Screw this, we're going back. Hey everyone, let's go back to 2015 in my cool DeLorean that I really I can't do this, I'm sorry. But I want to return to a good year, 2015. If you remember it, it seems oddly strange and calm as of now. But I was in high school in 2015, just about to graduate, and I wanted to look back on 10 years ago, see how pop music and music in general has changed in the public landscape by looking at the top 25 songs of 2015. This is all from Billboard's year-end Hot 100 singles list. We're going to go from 25 to 1, put them in a tier list, and see how well they've aged over time. All right, so at number 25, we have the song Honey, I'm Good by Andy Grammer. I think he won American Idol or was famous for being on some kind of big reality music competition show. I'm not entirely sure, but I do vividly remember this song. Maybe not exactly for the best reason, but I'm going to go back and listen to it now, see if it still holds up, and we'll see from there. So Honey I'm Good, Andy Grammer, kind of has this weird country pop thing to it. I remember the kind of like stomp clap, Honey I'm Good sounds in the background, but I didn't really remember how country it really leaned into that sound. It's not really a good song. It's not the worst thing ever, but I think I'm gonna put it in D. It's like it's really just garish, and I forgot how much like of a millennial like ooh ooh woo woo chorus it had. He seems to be a fine guy. He's just so like bland and milk toast that it's just not really something that I'm gonna stick with that or really remember for too long. It's not really gritty. There's nothing really much he's saying in the lyrics. Um, it just sounds like a youth pastor. Like I could have another, but I probably should not. I've got somebody at home, and if I stay, I might not leave alone. Like he's clearly being coerced on the song, and I think someone really needs to look into what's going on. Someone's trying to secretly like human traffic Andy Grammer. Please make sure he's okay because this song is kind of weird. I'm putting in D. Next up, we have the track "Post to Be" by Omarion with Chris Brown and Gene Ico. I don't remember this one. This is the first one I don't remember, which is weird because I used to listen to a lot more pop music back in the day than I do now. So it's very weird. Also, I really am unsettled by this album called Sex Playlist, which is not a playlist. It's an album by this guy Omarion. So I may remember it when I play it again. It has 500 million streams, so it's got to be pretty relevant. I mean, Honey, I'm Good only had 450 million, something like that. So let's jump into it. We'll see if I remember it. If I don't, I'll listen to it all the way through and I'll give you my rating on it. Oh, is this Eat the Booty Like Groceries? I think this is Eat the Booty Like Groceries. Is this not Eat the Booty Like Groceries? Where is that line? That's the only line I would remember this. Yeah, gotta eat the booty like groceries. That's the only line I remember from this song. Because such a dumb line. All right, so that was Post to Be with Omarion, Chris Brown, and Gene Ico. I really only remember this song off of one line, which was kind of a meme, which was off of the Gene Ico verse, where she says, "You gotta eat the booty like groceries," which is really the only thing that stuck out to me. This song just sounds very generic, very like kind of tropical island pop sound to it. Really, not a lot stands out, but I mean, it was fine. I just not a huge fan of Chris Brown. The guy kind of had a weird like voice where he sounded like he had cotton balls in his mouth. The Omarion, like other than that, I don't know. It was fine. I'm gonna put it in C tier. There's really nothing memorable about it except for "Eat the Booty Like Groceries" line. That's pretty much it. Yeah, very much a whatever to me. Very creepy vibes from it. All right, the 23rd highest rated song from 2015 is the song Worth It by Fifth Harmony featuring Kid Ink. I believe I remember this song. It had a very like horn filled chorus, if I remember right. I remember Fifth Harmony being a big like girl group at the time. I believe they are now split. But let's listen to this song and we'll give it a rating. Really, not a lot happening in this song. What a very weird song from Fifth Harmony. Again, it does have that very goofy like on the chorus and on the very beginning of the song too. So it kind of had this weird like cheat feeling to it, but in the pre-chorus they had this big like weird sweeping like not orchestral, but very much like open and wide and free sound to it. Like they had like a sweeping sound to it. You had these drums in the back, which is like, "Ooh, I love your style." And then when it keeps building up, and then it gets back to the chorus, and then you just have these hard 808s coming with that weird horn loop. So it's got very strange production on it. Not really something that I truly vibe with or liked. I'm gonna put it in D because it's fine, but like it's really not something I'm gonna be listening to. They have much better songs. Just a very weird mishmash. I did like Kid Ink's like contributions, but he didn't really do much on it. All right, next up we have the song "Lips Are Moving" by Megan Trainor. This is the album cover, if you remember this. I remember Megan Trainor. I obviously remember all about that bass. I know she has more of like a 50s and 60s like doo-wop sound that she just keeps trying to bring back for some reason. I'm not sure why. I kind of vaguely remember this song. I'm just gonna listen to it again and see what synapses fire back up again. I guess there are weird record scratches in there. What the fuck? All right, I've heard enough. I've heard enough of that. That's I've heard enough. That is gonna be our first F. Where is it in here? There it is. That's our first F right there. That is a weird mashup of sounds that are just too garish for me. First of all, she starts with a rap feature of herself that I did not remember happening. The song is about like I know you lied, your lips are moving. There's not really much more substance to it than that. It has these weird like bells and piano like dun 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 for the entire song. There's weird record scratches on it for some reason too, and like electric guitar worked in there. And it's just so strange and weird. And these sounds like it worked for like one or two songs. Like I like all about that bass. It's kind of a novelty song in that aspect. And so like to do it again and again and again and again, it is so weird that she is still seeing this much success like deep down in her career. Like the song "Mother," I remember being like pretty high up on charting as of late. It's not good. None of her like recent songs are that good. And I'm sorry to Megan. She seems like a good person. She married the guy from Spy Kids, who also seems like a good person. I just don't like the sound. Like I don't like this weird pop like 50s revivalist sound. Like I don't know what sound you're trying to go back to, but we have enough people going back in that time period right now. We don't need that right now, Megan. Now, finally, we get to some good music, some good authentic music. 679 featuring the Remy Boys. This was Fetty Wap's year, hands down. I remember Fetty Wap being everywhere, and we'll get to an even bigger Fetty Wap song later in this list. But this is 679. This has 850 million streams on Spotify. Holy shit. Let's go ahead and play it. Yeah, baby. I'm like she finds you, walk back to chill, be born to walk past Cypress, rewind to see that as one more time, and I got this soda. Alright, 679 Fetty Boys, and Remy Wap. Alright, 679 Fetty Wap, Remy Boys. This is getting our first A tier. This is a great song. Instantly recognizable chorus. I can sing it pretty much all the way through and just have a great time. Great features. There's obviously a little bit of nostalgia going on here because I did like this song. Actually, I don't know if I remember liking this song when it came out. I think I just liked it in retrospect a couple years after. But I think it's held up the most out of the songs we've listened to so far. I think it's pretty stand up. I think Fetty Wap is a pretty good rapper. There are some kind of low key like not great production choices and like the rapping is fine, but I just really like his voice. Yeah, baby, is like very recognizable. Like you hear that song, you're like you hear that little tiny snippet. That's Fetty Wap, you know. And granted, he hasn't had the biggest of glow ups or lasted the longest in the music industry after his big 2015. But I do think this song and some other songs of his stand out pretty well in his catalog. I even went back recently and started listening to some of his older albums, and they're pretty good. I haven't listened to them all, but 679 definitely stands up in my opinion. So next one is kind of a weird one. The next one is called Fight Song by Rachel Platten. I thought this was a different person. I thought Fight Song, where is it? Fight Song right here. I thought this was Katy Perry. I could be wrong because I know she has a lot of those uplifting like songs like Roar and Firework and all those kind of like bigger like self uplifting songs. I didn't know this was Rachel Platten. This is definitely a one hit wonder. Well, compared to the amount of streams, obviously some of these songs have millions of streams as well. But I don't remember if I remember this, so let's try this out. Okay, so you have "Fight Song" by Rachel Platten. Totally forgot who she was. Again, apologies to Rachel, but I do remember this song. I only remember the chorus. I thought it was Katy Perry because she did a lot of those uplifting songs again. It's fine. I've got really nothing wrong with it. It's a very, very basic song. It's just that simple, like G, D, E minor, C chord progression that you hear in so many pop songs that it's just so boring at this point. But nothing really against it. I'm just gonna put it in C because it's just so middle of the road for me. Sorry, I got really nothing to say on that one, but seems fine. Seems fine. Got nothing wrong with it. All right, we are now at number 19 on the top 100 Billboard songs of 2015 with the song "Where Are You Now" with Justin Bieber, Dillix and Skrillex and Diplo, and Justin Bieber. I very much remember Jack U being a thing at the time. This song is burned into my memory, not because I listened to it, but I just remember it being played so often. This is our first song with a billion streams on it. Actually came out in 2015 and clearly has some staying power because it has a lot of streams. So let's give it a listen. All right, I think that song was pretty good. I don't think it's super standout or anything, but I'm gonna put this in the B column or the B row, I should say. I remember the song being pretty big. I don't remember it being as like skeletal and like out there as much as it was. I did a little research on it. It sounded like Justin Bieber recorded it as a piano like just ballad by itself, but didn't feel like it was good enough to release on its own. So he sent it to Skrillex and Diplo for this collaboration album that they were doing, and then they remix it to put it on their own album. I think it's okay. I think it has a pretty good chorus to it. I do think it's not as high as it could be just because there's a very strange feeling to it. When the drop comes, it's not like this huge, like, Electric Daisy Festival size drop or anything like that. It's a very, like, low key EDM and, like, tropical house vibes to it, and I think that weird dichotomy makes for an interesting track. Not something that's necessarily above and beyond, but something that is better than the sum of its parts, which I think is always worth it a little bit. I think it is cool how they did the production for this. The little is apparently a part of Justin Bieber's vocals that they had pitched up by like a lot of semitones up, and then put that on the song and then just played it in reverse. So that's a cool like production aspect that I didn't really put into consideration. But I think it's just at a B. I think it's better than slight middle of the road. Something that they definitely played to death that I remember pretty vividly. But yeah, it's about a B for me. All right, we're here at number 18. I'm surprised that we had to wait this long for Taylor Swift, but we are at the track "Shake It Off," off of the album 1989. I will save my thoughts on Taylor and this song until after I've re-listened to it, and then we'll give it a rating after that. Let's go. All right, "Shake It Off" by Taylor Swift, I think is going to be in the B section for me. I think Taylor does have some good songs, especially on this album, 1989. I don't really like Taylor Swift too much as an artist. I think she has a lot more misses than hits. I do think this album is pretty good. It has a couple songs like that, but this album is catchy, or this song rather is catchy. It's got a lot of good elements to it. It's just so shallow in its lyricism. It's really not saying much. It's just like the haters are gonna hate and they're the fakers gonna fake, but I'm just gonna shake it off. Like it's really not saying much, but like I guess it's like a dance anthem, and if that's your thing, that's fine. There are a lot of things to criticize Taylor on that I'll try not to bring up too much as to keep everyone happy, so to say. But I think this is a fine song. It's got a lot of good catchy bits to it. It's like a decent dance song. I don't like the breakdown in the middle of it where she's just "my ex-man brought his new girlfriend." I'm not a huge fan of that, but the rest of the song is fine and fun. Just it's fine. There are worse Taylor Swift songs, so I think this one's okay. All right, next up is Jason Derulo's "Want to Want Me." I do remember this song, but I only remember the chorus. I don't think this is going to rank too highly. Spoiler alert. I do think Jason Derulo is kind of creepy, very weird vibes coming from Jason, but let's listen to the song and see how it goes. Yeah, "Want to Want Me" I think is going to get a D for me. Just very weird vibes coming off of this. I think his weird falsetto voice is fine in theory, but I don't think it's the greatest in practice. Like it's like it hits the notes. Obviously, I'm sure there's some auto tune in there as well, but very persistent, like trying to get this woman over. Like, oh, you're wearing nothing but a smile. I fall to the floor, and he just like says like the thought of loving you makes me so high, and he repeats that over and over and over again across the whole thing. It's not something I'd listen to on my own accord, but it's not the worst song in the world, I guess. But Jason Derulo, again, just very weird, creepy, icky, gross vibes coming from him. I'm going to skip this as much as I can. Right, at number 16 on the Billboard Year-End Hot 100 Singles of 2015 list is the song Lean On by Major Lazer featuring Mo and DJ Snake. This has 2.2 billion streams, so this is one of the most popular, like, EDM, I guess, house songs of all time. I've heard this song multiple times. I'm gonna listen to it for a little bit, and then we'll give it a ranking. Okay, yeah. So Lean On. You just finished listening to. Well, I didn't finish listening to it. I got like 40 seconds in. I know the song very well. This I'm surprised that it was only 16 because this is one of the most like streamed songs of all time. It's very very popular. So I guess just because it's like a EDM like electronic song, they have more of a longer lasting appeal, or I guess age a little bit better. But I think this is another B. I think it's pretty good. It's not something I'm going to be listening to too much, but it's definitely got its own merits. I think it's been 10 years since the song came out, so you can kind of see the long lasting appeal of these kinds of songs. And I think if this was played in a club, it would be totally fine to play in a club. There's nothing wrong with playing this at the club. But looking into it, this song has broken a lot of like streaming records. It was the most streamed song on Spotify for many, many years until another song. What song was? Oh, Drake's One Dance was the song that beat it. And then an Ed Sheeran song came and beat that, which we'll get into later. And even the music video on YouTube has like 3 billion streams. So it's one of the best selling songs of that year. But it's very weird that it's number 16 on the list. So I'm not sure what Billboard has going on. Maybe it didn't peak in 2015. Maybe it peaked later. I'm not entirely sure. But I think it's a good song. I think it's fine. Nothing really wrong with it. But again, not something I'm going to be like coming to very often. But for those kinds of standards, I think it's good. I would probably shimmy around to it at the club. I'm going to give it like a B. Okay, so here's where we may get in trouble. We have the song Bad Blood by Taylor Swift, specifically featuring Kendrick Lamar on the song. I know that not this. I think there is a version that's just Taylor Swift, but the one that was listed for Billboard was the one with Kendrick featured on it. So let's try it out. Is there a second verse on this? There's a second Kendrick verse on this? Wow, okay. This song is bad. I don't know if it's the worst ever. I think it's a step above Meghan Trainor, but it is not great. I think I do. I think I do have to put it in F tier. I don't. I think this is Taylor Swift's worst song in retrospect. It is kind of. It's not. It's like that's the thing with Taylor Swift's music is like I think it's catchy, but there's no substance. It's a little repetitive. But even with this song, it's not even that catchy. I think the chorus is just badly written in terms of like the chord progression. Now we got Bad Blood, and then like we used to be Mad Love, and especially the tagline of Band-Aids don't fix bullet holes. Like that's so corny. That's so like Tumblr era shit. Kendrick, I love Kendrick Lamar. He is literally my favorite rapper of all time. He dropped a 10 out of 10 album 2 months before this song came out. He dropped To Pimp a Butterfly in March, and then this song came out in May. And I'm just baffled at why he was on it. I know they have a friendship, kind of. I know she did a thing where she recorded herself singing Backseat Freestyle, I think, in one of her... She made like a Twitter video or something like that many, many years ago. So I know they have some kind of connection there. But the fact that this song came out in the first place is insane. And then the fact that Kendrick was like, yeah, let me jump on the remix. His verse is not that great. And there's 2 verses. The second verse starts at a minute in, and the first verse starts at like the first couple seconds of the song. It is very jarring. It does not sound like a verse that Kendrick would ever hop on again. And I think this is Taylor Swift's one of her worst songs. I haven't heard every single album from hers, but I really don't like this song. And this is where you can get in the comments and get mad at me. But Bad Blood is not a good song. It is not catchy. There's no real substance to it. Like we got you. We used to be mad love. You made a really deep cut. It's not. It doesn't flow well. They're like Shake It Off is much better than this song, and especially the remix with Kendrick. Like it's just two things that don't really mash well together, and it's an F. I think it's slightly better here. If this makes people happy, I'll put it above Megan Trainor because I think it's slightly better than Megan Trainor, but it's a bad song. I'm sorry. All right, number 15 on the list is the song "Take Me to Church" by Hozier. This song has 2.8 billion streams. It is the first song off of his self-titled 2014 album. And I do remember this song pretty vividly, but I'm going to give it a refresh listen, and I'll give you my full thoughts later. All right, "Take Me to Church" by Hozier, I think is the first song that we can confidently say is going to go in the S tier. I think this is a great song. It is one that I'm kind of surprised got as big as it did because it's kind of more of like an alternative rock song. And I know artists like Arctic Monkeys or other like alt rock bands have gotten pretty popular, but yeah, Hozier is an Irish singer songwriter. This obviously again came out on the debut album of his name, and I'm pretty happy it was as big as it was because this is a mid-tempo soul song. It uses a lot of lyrics that evoke a lot of religious envisionings and terminology to describe a relationship that's frowned upon by the church. I think the music video was two homosexual men in a relationship and then just getting, attacked, and then, they kind of had to go back to church and kind of come to terms with that kind of thing. And he was a struggling musician at the time when this came out, so I'm pretty happy that it kind of blew up the way that it did because I really like the way that he wrote this. It's kind of that, again, that mid-tempo kind of feel to it. That and then that chorus just kind of makes it really eerie and odd, but still very warm and accepting, and in a world where you're not necessarily viewed at in the best light, you can still be happy. And I don't know, I'm trying to pull meaning out of this song that probably isn't the best, but this spent 23 consecutive weeks at the top of the Hot Rock Songs chart. It is tied for the longest running number one chart history at the time. Later crossed over to the Billboard Hot 100 where it peaked at number 2. And it was nominated for the Grammy Award for Song of the Year and has been certified diamond. So it is very, very popular. Obviously, it's number 14 or whatever it is. And I think it's great. I think it has a lot of meaning, a lot of depth to it. I think that because he was struggling at the time, it has a bit more oomph to it. And, he clearly wanted this song to be big, but didn't try to make too much of a pop song or try to, get swayed by the masses and just put out what they wanted to hear. He put out what he wanted, and I think that is great. And it's going to be my first S tier. So if you disagree with that, go back to church, I guess. That wasn't, what am I doing? Number 13 is "Love Me Like You Do" by Ellie Goulding. This is off of the 50 Shades of Grey soundtrack, which I think there is one or two more songs from the 50 Shades of Grey soundtrack that are on this list, which is kind of wild. But Ellie Goulding, I don't think that's her biting her lip. I think that's, what is her name? The woman from 50 Shades of Grey. You'll put it in the comments for me. "Love Me Like You Do." I do remember how this song goes, but let's give it another listen anyway. All right, "Love Me Like You Do," Ellie Goulding, I think is just going to go right into C tier for me. I think it is, again, another fine song. I think she has a pretty fantastic voice, actually, but the songwriting is just so generic. And, again, that kind of spacey, like, room to spread out and go. It really resonates on this song. And I do like the chorus. I think it kind of has that generic pop, like, sound to it. I really don't have too much to say on this. Again, I do think she is a very good vocalist. I think she does have a good sound to her voice, but the songwriting is just not really there. Very generic lyrics, not something that's really going to stick in your memory for too long. But I did vividly remember how the song goes, so it does have some staying power to it, obviously, but just not something I put on too often, so I think that's why I'm going to put it in C tier. All right, number 12 is the song "Can't Feel My Face" by The Weeknd off of the album Beauty Behind the Madness. I do remember this album very well. There are a couple other songs that I don't know if are actually on this list that I do like a little bit more. I think there is one or maybe two on this album that we will cover in a few spots on this list. So we're going to start with Can't Feel My Face. I'll talk more about it after I listen to it again. She told me don't worry about it. She told me don't worry no more. We both know we can't go without it. She told me you'll never be alone. Oh, oh. All right, Can't Feel My Face, I think is going to go into the B tier for me. I think it's a pretty good song. The reason why I like it as much as I do, obviously, it has a pretty good bass line to it. It is a bit more pop focused. I think The Weeknd, especially around this time, was kind of switching more over to that when he had a bit more of an R&B focused sound to him before. And I do think he has a pretty great voice. I think he is the voice of this generation of R&B pop rap sound to a lot of different music styles that carried over into many different genres and artists. But for this one, I was in a cover band in college and we did this song. And I do remember this being one of the more fun songs to sing. And I do think it's pretty good. I think it is, again, he leans more pop in this. And when he does focus more on R&B, I think he is better. But I do like The Weeknd. I think he has a great voice, and he definitely stands out from a lot of different pop songs. And the Weeknd can be a little creepy, in my opinion, when he comes to talking about girls. If you ever watched that shitty HBO show, I think it was The Idol that he did, it was very, very unsettling and nerve wracking. Not for like an intended way. He just seems like a weird, creepy guy. But in this 2015 lens that we're looking at it, I do remember very much liking this song at the time. There are a couple other songs of his on this list that I like a little bit more, and we'll get to that. But I think this is a solid B. I think it's pretty good. Lyrics aren't the greatest, but what are you going to do? It's a pop song. Now, this is the song that incorporates 2015 in a nutshell for me. It is the song Cheerleader by Omi, specifically the Felix Jen remix. 1.8 billion streams. I remember listening to this in high school very vividly and just being I remember listening to it a couple times and being like, oh, this is pretty good. And then just hearing it freaking everywhere after that. So let's give it another listen for old good time's sake, and we'll rank it then. All right, Cheerleader by Omi. A very interesting song. This is very 2015 coded, but I think it also kind of stayed there. I'm going to give this a D, but I think it is the best of the D's, so I guess I'll put it up there. There's no real meaning behind like left to right like placement in this list, but I do think it's a I don't think it's an okay song. I feel conflicted because when I listen to it, I think it's okay. It's got this reggae fusion sound in there mixed with like a little bit of like house, I guess, with the remixed version of this. But the backstory behind this is pretty cool. It is an artist his name's Omi. He is from, I believe, Jamaica, and this song took many years to come to fruition the way it did. He developed the song in 2008, and I think the song came out in 2012, like the original song. But the Felix Jen version that kind of became as big as it did with this kind of like tropical flavored mix came out in 2015, and so it reached number one in many different countries. It became very big, obviously. At 1.8 billion streams is a lot. So the remix version is the one that got the most play out of it. And I feel weird because I think in theory I like the song, but when it's on, it's just like, what are we doing? It also doesn't help that my girlfriend was a cheerleader and just had to hear this song all the time, and everyone captioning their pictures, I found myself a cheerleader. And I guarantee you it ruined a lot of cheerleaders' lives, or made it better. It kind of has this weird like conga beat to it, some kind of cheap piano in the background as well. This kind of trumpet that comes in and out every now and then. I feel like I should put it in C, but I feel, you know what? Screw it. You know what? We're gonna put it in C. I think it's the worst of the C's, but it would be the best of the D's, if that makes any sense. Is it a Muppet of a man or a very manly Muppet? It's one of those kind of things. So I'm gonna put it in C. It's like right there. I don't think I would listen to it too often, but when I think about it in my head, I think it's okay. All right, we are now officially in the top 10, and we're already back to this album. Interesting. But this song is The Hills by The Weeknd. And I do remember this song very vividly as well. 2.5 billion streams, holy crap. Obviously, The Weeknd's huge. Everyone knows him. So we're going to listen to this again, and I'll rate it right afterwards. All right, back to the tier list. This song is pretty great. I'm going to put this in A tier. I really do love this song. This song kind of throws me back. Again, another kind of nostalgic feel to me because when I first got my car in high school, whoa, very cool. It was a shitty hand-me-down of a hand-me-down. But I remember playing this song on my new stereo, which was just a car's regular speakers in a Toyota Corolla. Or no, it was a Highlander, sorry. And I played this song, and this song has huge bass on when the chorus hits. I only called you when it's like it hits. So I remember EQing, turning up the bass in my car, and just playing this song. And I remember it being just great. I remember just really liking this song, and it still stands up pretty well. The lyrics, when I'm fucked up, that's the real me. Like that's kind of corny, obviously, but I love the mysterious, vibe to this song. Very creepy, but not in like a scary kind of creepy, like a I'm gonna come touch you unwantingly kind of creepy, but like a mysterious kind of creepy. That's a bad way to put it. I think it's good. I think it's a good song. I think the production is good. I think he has great vocals on it. I think that just let me have rose-colored glasses. I'm just gonna like this song forever. It's not gonna be an S tier, but I do think it is one of his better songs. Probably one of my favorites from his, without the kind of creepy like sex vibes going on with some of his other songs. Because this song doesn't really have that. Even, he does have a song, or he does have a lyric in the song that goes, "I just fucked two bitches before I saw you," which is I do laugh at that. It's kind of funny. So it's not top of the top tier, but I do like the song. I do have good memories with it, and yeah, that's about it. Believe it or not, we're already right back with The Weeknd at number 9. This has earned it. We're also back with another song from the 50 Shades of Grey soundtrack. This one is the more memorized or more well-known song from that soundtrack. Is the song "Earned It." This one is a bit more creepy in my opinion, with the whole sexual themes to it. But let's just go ahead and play it again. I'ma care for you, you. I actually think that song was a little bit better in retrospect than I remember it being. So it's good that I go back and re-listen to these kind of songs because, in theory versus in practice, like there can be a bit of a difference. I think I'm gonna put this in B actually. I think there are some creepy sex elements to it that are what they are, but it's also just good baby making music. I guarantee you, if you find anyone born in the year 2016, go back and ask their parents, see, hey, what songs were on while that happened, and I guarantee you this one will probably be in that sex playlist, which is how you do a sex playlist. Omicron or whatever that guy was that did the Chris Brown and Gene Aiko song. That's how you do a sex song. So it was good. It definitely had those kind of like sensual vibes to it. I've never actually seen the 50 Shades of Grey movie or how it fits in or how that Ellie Goulding song actually fit into it. But it's got pretty good R&B vibes to it. It's not something that's, really, really over the top good like The Hills, but it was pretty sensual, pretty romantic. I feel like 2015, 2016 was like peak Weeknd vibes. Like obviously he has good songs now and has had good songs before that, but I feel like this is where he peaked creatively for at least me and for I feel like a lot of other music listeners as well. So now we are officially done with The Weeknd on this list, but that may not be for better because we now have the song Watch Me, in parentheses Whip/Nene, by Salento, released in 2015. This is number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100 Songs of 2015, which is kind of wild to me. I'll go into more explanation after I re-listen to the song, because let's see how bad it could be. Break your legs? You just did the stanky leg and now you're asking me to break my legs? But, like, all you have to do is just look at these lyrics. Like, oh, wow, watch me whip. No, watch me duff 'em. Watch me whip, watch me nay nay. Tell him break your legs. Do the stanky leg, now break your leg. You want me to get my leg stanky and then you want me to break it? I don't think so, Salento. This song is baffling to me. I just don't understand. Like, I understand why it was made, but this is clearly a dance song, but not specifically a song that you can dance to. It is a song to specifically do one dance to, and that is whip and nay nay. And now, I was alive in 2015. I did whip and nay nay. Shout out Cam Newton. Shout out Odell Beckham Jr. for whipping and nay naying for many many years. But yeah, this song is not anything outside of, hey, I did a popular dance craze in the day. Do it to this song. I'm baffled that is at number 8 among above many other like classic good songs. There's no reason to listen to this song if you're not gonna do the dance to it. So this one gets an F. I don't understand why it's number 8. Like I get people that do whip and nay nay, but like there's no like the artistic merits. The artistic merit of this song is not great. The composition, shall you say, is just nothing. It's just Silento saying, "Watch me do this dance. Now you do this dance." That's the song. Like, I don't know. I don't get it. All right, back at it with Taylor Swift at the number 7 spot. Back at this same album, 1989. We were at the song Blank Space. I've already spoken my truth about Taylor Swift, so I won't go into that too much, but we're going to listen to the song Blank Space, if you remember this song. Let's go ahead and re-listen. All right, Blank Space by Taylor Swift. I think this one is just middle of the road for me. I'm going to give it like a C. I think the songwriting is pretty good, pretty catchy. Again, it's kind of got that catchiness but no real substance to it. I think it's fine. It's not one of her better songs. I do think a lot of the lyricism is pretty corny. She's like, right before the chorus, she has those like lines where all the music cuts out and she goes, "I can make the bad guys good for the weekend," and then she does it a couple other times. Oh, what was it? "Darling, I'm a nightmare dressed like a daydream," and it's like, ugh, like, boys only want love. It's torture. Don't say I didn't warn ya. Like, I know clearly I am not the target audience of Taylor Swift, and I never will be. But I think the song is fine. I think there are elements to it that I enjoy and that are catchy. But I think the way that she puts out in this song her vocal presence and just her vibe in general just seem very snivy and like, don't say I didn't warn you. I got a blank space and I'm gonna write your name on it. I can make the good guys bad for the weekend. It's just like, is it gonna be forever or is it gonna go down in flames? Like there's love forever and everyone's fine with it, or you will always be tortured and nothing will ever be the same. It's like there is no in between. It's just not real. Like, I know, like, I don't think about this song too often, and I think it's well written and like it's a decent song, but it's just something that is just so like destructive. It's like you can only be the greatest or the worst. So I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it, but I think it's fine. I think she has much better songs though. Now onto a song that I'm kind of interested why it ranked so high on this list. It is number 6 on the Billboard Year-End Hot 100 Singles of 2015. It is the song "Shut Up and Dance" by Walk the Moon. Very much a one-hit wonder. I don't think I can name another Walk the Moon song, but I do very much remember this song. I remember dancing to it at weddings at the time, and I do remember enjoying it quite a bit, but let's give it a re-listen. I don't think it's going to age as well as I think it will. All right, another pretty decent song, not something that I thought it was going to be worse than it actually was on re-listen, but re-listening to it, it's pretty good. I'm going to put it in C tier because it's not super standout. There's not a lot of like risk or anything they took on this, but it's an interesting mix of sounds. It has this weird, like, it's obviously a pop rock song, but it's more of like a power pop song mixed with like almost like a bit of new wave-ish sound to it, which is at least what it was listed as. But it's a very interesting mix of sounds and vibes, and I think that repeated chorus pre-chorus goes on a little bit too long for me, but it's good. It has just fun vibes. It's just kind of got this air of letting go of your inhibitions and just kind of shutting up and dancing, just, throwing caution to the wind. I can kind of appreciate that. That's just kind of the essence of pop music, is like, don't think about it too much, just kind of enjoy it. And I think I am defeating the purpose by going back and re-listening to all of these songs with a more of a critical lens. So maybe I'm the one that's in the wrong. But this song was fine. It could be maybe B tier, but I don't think it's on par with the rest of the songs that are in that tier. But time to go over to the top 5. Very ironic that the 5th song, the top 5 of the list, is off of the album V by Maroon 5. It is the song Sugar. Maroon 5 is a very, very odd band to me because they had an actually very good album to debut with songs about Jane, with great songs like She Will Be Loved, Sunday Morning. There's a couple other good songs on there that I remember liking, but that was 2004, I believe, or mid 2000s. And the way that they transitioned out of that is very, very odd because they just went, screw it, we're not going to be like this kind of jazz pop, like, coffee shop sound anymore. We're going to go full pop with a little bit of rock in there, but it's to the point where it's not even Maroon 5, it's just Adam Levine and a producer, but there's no like band aspect to it. Like, they used to be an actual proper band, and now they put out shit like this, and clearly it's successful. Look at this album streams: 1.9 billion, 1.5 billion, 1.9 billion, 100 million, 100 million, 300 million. Like, all of these songs are very popular, and if you go to their artist page, you're going to get even more songs. 2 billion, 1.9, 1.6, 2, 1. Like, all of these songs, obviously these two being off of that Songs About Jane album that I really do like, but we are on the song Sugar. And I don't think this is going to rank too high, but let's give it a listen. Maybe it'll rank higher than I think it will. Yeah, this song is not great. I don't think it's necessarily F tier, but it is definitely the worst of the D tier for me. So I'm going to put it in D. It sounds like it was written by like 5,000 different people that just kind of like melted and coagulated into one kind of pop song. It is very strange. The chorus compared to the verses is not really that different. It just kind of has this weird like drony kind of like maybe like a Moog like synthesizer or something with like varying chords on it. The only real difference on the chorus is that it just gets a little bit louder, I guess. Like, it gets slightly louder, and maybe they add like one or two guitars. Now, the chorus is later in the song. They have a little bit more going on them, but there's really nothing of substance in here. The lyrics are fucking dog shit, by the way. Like, I need you bad. I need you really bad. You have me weak. You have me down on my knees. Like, I really miss you. Please come back. Like, I need to love you. There's nothing happening there. Sugar, yes please, because what even is the lyrics on the chorus? Sugar, yes please, won't you come and put it down on me? I'm right here because I need little love and little sympathy. So baby, you show me good loving, make me all right, need a little sweetness in my life. It really doesn't have anything to do with sugar. I need sweetness, your sugar. Like, that's the only kind of tie-in that they have. So the vibe of this is just off. There's something off about it. Like, they do the bare minimum to escape F tier, I think, just because, I don't know, it's very, very overwritten or not overproduced and underwritten. So, very weird vibes coming off of that. Not a huge fan of it. Now we are back to number 4. We are now officially back to Fetty Wap. I told you we'd come back to him eventually. This is Trap Queen. Now, this is another song that I remember being very popular at the time. I remember this album cover where he's covering his face, showing off his missing eye, which is very cool. Adds another level of recognizability from Fetty Wap. This was his year for sure. And I'm going to re-listen to Trap Queen. I'm going to have a good time doing it. And I get high with my baby. I've been in the kitchen cooking pies with my baby. Yeah, baby. Okay, so I definitely had a little bit of nostalgia glasses when I first talked about it. It's still a pretty good song, but I'm going to put it in B tier. There are some production elements that are pretty dated. Those kind of like the riser sounds are very like not bit crushed, but like kind of had that sound to them. Um, I don't think it's aged the best. I do think 679 is better aged than this song, but I do remember this one being the most popular out of those two. Um, I could still definitely sing a lot of the lyrics from this too, so it did age well for me, but the production I don't think aged super well. And I think some of his rapping near the second half of the song isn't the best. I think his singing is much better than his rapping, but maybe he should get the Remy Boys back on this song too and make it a good remix. But I'm going to put it in B tier. I think it was very, very fun song. Maybe not the best aged song, but still very fun. Now, I'm kind of shocked this one isn't number one. We have the song See You Again featuring Charlie Puth and Wiz Khalifa. I remember this one being very, very popular. If you don't know the context of this, this is a song that they wrote for the Fast and Furious 7 soundtrack after Paul Walker, who was one of the stars of that series, got, I believe, in a car accident and passed away. And so this is a very touching, like, thoughtful, like, I'm doing this song for you kind of thing. So let's give it a listen and see how it has aged in the last 10 years. Okay, so See You Again, Wiz Khalifa, and Charlie Puth, I think is going to be the best out of the D tier. It's another one of those, like, cheerleader situations where, like, best of the D tier, but worst of the C tier. But I think it is definitely D tier for me. It's a very weird combination of really, actually very solid and tear jerking singing from Charlie Puth. I think he is the best part of the whole song. And I do think it has pretty good substance and meaning behind it. I think the intentions behind it are good, but I think what ruins it is Wiz Khalifa's rapping. I think he is very much a drugged out party rapper. Who I think had that kind of reputation at the time too. So I'm surprised that he kind of got the opportunity to do this song because when it switches from this very soft piano ballad and then it comes into like generic like rap drums and 808s that get added in there, Wiz is just, his performance on the mic is not up to snuff. I don't think he has what it takes to make this kind of like relationship connection type of song. And it's very weird how these two were paired together because I feel like Charlie Puth and Wiz Khalifa have nothing in common. They don't really bounce off of each other creatively, artistically, any of those kind of things. And again, the best part is Charlie Puth singing, which is pretty good on this, which is the only reason it's pushing it to the top of the D tier. But it's just not like the only reason why it is so connective and why people see it as such and why it was so high up on the list, I think, is because of how Charlie Puth handled this. Only two songs left. The second to last one, or the second highest one, I should say, is the song Thinking Out Loud by Ed Sheeran on the album X. Ed Sheeran, everyone knows, one of the most streamed musicians of all time. Obviously, every song on this has many, many millions, even billions of streams. This one I very vividly remember, and I will get into why afterwards. But I will just play it for right now and see how I rank it. All right, Ed Sheeran's Thinking Out Loud, I think, is going to get a C tier from me. If I can actually click on it and move it. There we go. It's fine. The only reason I don't rank it higher is because it is, again, a very basic chord progression song, just pure acoustic guitar, which I think is fine. I think it's good not to go super all out and have giant production for every single track that you do, so that's good. I have a bit more of a personal connection with this song. 2015 was my first and only prom I ever went to, and I remember this was the slow dance song, so I was with a girl that I was dating at the time, and I remember this being like the big song. Oh, you're gonna have a kiss during the slow dance song. This is big. This is the only time you get to have a nice romantic moment. And they put on Thinking Out Loud by Ed Sheeran. And I think it was literally written for that kind of moment. We're at a wedding and we're gonna slow it down by dancing to Thinking Out Loud, and you're gonna do this whole thing. Anytime I hear Thinking Out Loud by Ed Sheeran, I think of that moment. And it was a good moment. I had a good time, but obviously my high school relationship didn't work out, and so I think I had like a bit of a grudge for this song ever since. because whenever I hear the song, I think of that moment. And while those were both good moments at the time, I just never like go out of my way to try to think about that anymore because like whatever. But it's not the song's fault. It's just my fault. So maybe it's me. Finally, we are at the number one spot, the hottest of the Hot 100 songs on the Billboard's list from 2015. It is the song Uptown Funk by Mark Ronson and Bruno Mars off of his album Uptown Special, which actually has some good songs on it. You should definitely go check that out if you ever get a chance. But I do very vividly remember this song. I'm going to listen to it one more time and see where I rank it. I think the song is pretty amazing. I'm gonna put this in S tier. I think I'm gonna put the Mark Ronson Uptown Funk, even though it is number one on this list. I think it is still that great. There is an amazing groove to this. This is the number one song that you should dance to at any wedding, by the way. If you go to a wedding, you need to dance to Uptown Funk. This is the one song that they put on. They're like, you need to get your ass on the floor. And I agree. I think it's a fun song. I think I don't really know what Mark Ronson's role in this was, if he was like a producer or just like the guy playing guitar. But I remember the first time I ever heard this song was on Saturday Night Live when Bruno Mars was the musical guest. And he came out and performed this song and just blew the roof off the place. I mean, he had his lineup of guys just going out and dancing, kind of blaring all the horns, having that awesome horn line running through the whole song. It's just an incredibly fun, funky song. It's got that uptown funk to it. Funk pop, boogie, soul, kind of like a disco feel to it. It's listed as Minneapolis Sound, which I don't really know what that means, but I think it's pretty great. I think that they really, really did well on this song. I mean, this song even got him to do the Super Bowl halftime show that year. This music video on YouTube has 5.2 billion views. It is now the ninth most viewed YouTube video of all time, which is pretty great. It's got just giant appeal to it, and I think they did it fantastically well. There's not a lot of like funk pop and disco pop songs that make it to number one on the chart. And, this song obviously is kind of trying to recreate a retro sound, but the way they go about doing it, I think, is the best way that you could go about doing it. Just having fun, bringing a lot of like boogie sounds into it, and not trying to be like have too much of a modern twist, but still kind of having a modern twist to it. It's hard to describe because I really enjoy listening to the song. Not something that I would put as like one of the best songs ever, but the way they went about stylizing this and handling this is pretty good. I think it's interesting because there are some copyright controversies with this that you can go and look into, but I think it definitely deserves to be S tier out of these lists. It's fun. It's got a groove to it. And I'd say the most danceable song on this entire list. There it is. There's the entire list. Go ahead and bask in its glory. I don't know why it says I think I agree with the whole list because I fucking made the list. Yeah, everything on there I think is pretty good. There may be one or two I can move around, but for first listen to, I think I'm good. I think I'm good. And that's going to do it. Those are the top 25 songs of 2015, 10 years ago. It's hard to believe that all those songs were put out 10 years ago. So if you agree with some of those listings or disagree, go ahead and put them in the comments if I ranked one way too high, if I put a song that's way too low. If you like Taylor Swift, go ahead and leave a comment because you will probably have fun with that. I do think it is worth going back and listening to some songs and going back and looking at some stuff that was happening in the news and being like, how can you learn from this? What does this mean for today? And how you can use this to make better stuff in the future. Because there are some very, very good quality songs in here. And even if I think that, maybe I'm a pop purist or like a music snob and like, oh, these songs can't be good because they were popular. I don't think that's true. I think there are songs that can be very popular in modern culture and still be amazing songs that have a lot of lyrical meaning and depth and, just have a lot of fun in them. So maybe that's what you take away from this. I don't fucking know. I'm just a guy with an Aaron Rodgers shirt on. If I should do a different year, leave it in the comments. Let me know if I should go back and listen to a certain year. Maybe there is one year that has a lot of really good songs in it that I could go back and listen to. But Thank you guys so much for watching. Always appreciate it. Go ahead and check my shorts for all of the workout albums that I've been doing recently. And putting a lot of work in there recently. So thank you guys again so much for watching, and catch you later.